Queen's millions invested offshore, Trump also embroiled in Paradise Papers tax scandal. The Queen and one of Donald Trump's closest aides have become embroiled in an explosive leak of financial documents laying bare investments in offshore tax havens by the world's rich and powerful. A disclosure of 13.4 million documents, dubbed the Paradise Papers, reportedly tie major companies and political figures to secretive overseas arrangements. Among those said to be named in the tranche of material is former Tory Treasurer Lord Ashcroft and U.S. President Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, who is reportedly linked to a Russian firm. The Duchy of Lancaster, the private estate of the Queen, was found to have millions of pounds invested in offshore arrangements. Around £10 million from the Queen's private fund was paid into funds in the Cayman Islands and Bermuda between 2004 and 2005, according to reports. A small part of the cash was traced to a lender which has previously been criticized for ripping off poor customers. The Queen voluntarily pays tax on any income she receives from the duchy. A spokesman for the estate said, "We operate a number of investments and a few of these are with overseas funds. All of our investments are fully audited and legitimate." The Paradise Papers represent the biggest data leak since the Panama Papers released last year and have been analyzed by almost 100 media organizations. Hundreds of individuals and companies reportedly have their overseas investments exposed by the files, which are also said to reveal that major global companies have exploited offshore schemes to avoid tax. The political reverberations of the release began to be felt almost immediately. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said the data proves that there's one rule for the super-rich and another for the rest when it comes to paying tax. His concern was echoed by Meg Hillier, the chairwoman of the House of Commons Public Accounts Committee, who said senior officials from Revenue and Customs, HMRC, would appear before the panel on Monday. She said, "British taxpayers will be rightly outraged by the content of these disclosures. Every pound moved offshore to avoid paying tax deprives public services of vital funds." A further £5 million was invested in 2004 in the Bermuda-based Jubilee Absolute Return Fund Limited. The Dover Street investment is said to form only 0.3% of the total value of the duchy. Beyond the UK, the White House was hit by fresh claims that it has ties to Russia. Commerce Secretary Mr. Ross is allegedly shown by the papers to have cash in a shipping company which deals with Russian leader Vladimir Putin's son-in-law. The Russian firm Navigator, in which the offshore investments are reportedly held, has a partnership with Cyber, a gas company co-owned by Kirill Shamanov, who is married to Mr. Putin's daughter. Social media, technology and sports companies are also said to have money sheltered in overseas havens, alongside a lineup of A-list celebrities. The government responded to the disclosure by defending its record on combating tax avoidance and evasion. A Treasury spokeswoman said, "Since 2010, the government has secured an additional £160 billion, more than the annual UK NHS budget, for our vital public services by tackling tax avoidance, evasion and non-compliance. This includes more than £2.8 billion from those trying to hide money abroad to avoid paying what they owe. There are 26,000 HMRC staff tackling tax avoidance and evasion, and we have provided an extra £800 million to fund their efforts. A fair tax system is a critical and key part of our plan to build a fairer society, and we are clear that everyone must pay what is due, at the right time."